Episode 15. "So why's Dumbledore been so keen to keep me in the dark?" Harry asked, still trying hard to keep his voice casual. "Did you bother to ask him at all?" He glanced up just in time to see them exchanging a look that told him he was behaving just as they had feared he would. It did nothing to improve his temper. "We told Dumbledore we wanted to tell you what was going on," said Ron. "We did, mate, but he's really busy now. We've only seen him twice since we came here, and he didn't have much time. He just made us swear not to tell you important stuff when we wrote. He said the owls might be intercepted." "He could have still kept me informed if he'd wanted to," Harry said shortly. "You're not telling me he doesn't know ways to send messages without owls?" Hermione glanced at Ron and then said,
"I thought that too, but he didn't want you to know anything."
"Maybe he thinks I can't be trusted," said Harry, watching their expressions.
"Don't be thick,"
said Ron, looking highly disconcerted, "or that I can't take care of myself."
"Of course he doesn't think that,"
said Hermione anxiously. "So how come I have to stay at the Dursleys while you two get to join in everything that's going on here?" said Harry, the words tumbling out over one another in a rush, his voice growing louder with every word. "How come you two are allowed to know everything that's going on?"
"We're not," Ron interrupted. "Mum won't let us near the meetings. She says we're too young."
But before he knew it, Harry was shouting, "So you haven't been in the meetings? Big deal! You've still been here, haven't you? You've still been together. Me, I've been stuck at the Dursleys for a month, and I've handled more than you two've ever managed, and Dumbledore knows it. Who saved the Sorcerer's Stone? Who got rid of Riddle? Who saved both your skins from the Dementors?" Every bitter and resentful thought that Harry had had in the past month was pouring out of him. His frustration at the lack of news, the hurt that they had all been together without him, his fury at being followed and not told about it. All the feelings he was half ashamed of finally burst their boundaries. Hedwig took fright at the noise and soared off on top of the wardrobe again. Pigwidgeon twittered in alarm and zoomed even faster around their heads. Who had to get past dragons and sphinxes and every other foul thing last year? Who saw him come back? Who had to escape from him? Me! Ron was standing there with his mouth half open, clearly stunned and at a loss for anything to say, while Hermione looked on the verge of tears. "But why should I know what's going on? Why should anybody bother to tell me what's happening?"
"Harry, we wanted to tell you, we really did," Hermione began.
"Can't have wanted to that much, can you? Or you'd have sent me an owl. But Dumbledore made you swear." "Well, he did. 4 weeks I've been stuck in Privet Drive, nicking papers out of bins to try and find out what's been going on."
"We wanted to."
"I suppose you've been having a real laugh, haven't you? All holed up here together." "No, honest."
"Harry, we're really sorry,"
said Hermione desperately, her eyes now sparkling with tears.
"You're absolutely right, Harry. I'd be furious if it was me."
Harry glared at her, still breathing deeply, then turned away from them again, pacing up and down. Hedwig hooted glumly from the top of the wardrobe. There was a long pause, broken only by the mournful creak of the floorboards below Harry's feet. "What is this place, anyway?" he shot at Ron and Hermione. "Headquarters of the Order of the Phoenix," said Ron at once. "Is anyone going to bother telling me what the Order of the Phoenix is?"
"It's a secret society," said Hermione quickly. "Dumbledore's in charge. He founded it. It's the people who fought against you-know-who last time."
"Who's in it?" said Harry, coming to a halt with his hands in his pockets.
"Quite a few people."
"We've met about 20 of them," said Ron, "but we think there are more." Harry glared at them. "Well?" he demanded, looking from one to the other. Said Ron. "Well, what?" "Voldemort!" said Harry furiously, and both Ron and Hermione winced. What's happening? What's he up to? Where is he? What are we doing to stop him?
We told you the Order don't let us in on their meetings, said Hermione nervously. We don't know the details, but we've got a general idea, she added hastily, seeing the look on Harry's face. Fred and George have invented extendable ears, see, said Ron. They're really useful. Extendable ears, yeah. Only we've had to stop using them lately because Mum found out and went berserk. Fred and George had to hide them all to stop Mum binning them. But we got a good bit of use out of them before Mum realized what was going on. We know some of the Order are following Death Eaters, keeping tabs on them, you know. Some of them are working on recruiting more people to the Order, said Hermione. And some of them are standing guard over something, said Ron. They're always talking about guard duty. Couldn't have been me, could it? Said Harry sarcastically. Oh, yeah, said Ron with a look of dawning comprehension. Harry snorted. He walked around the room again, looking anywhere but at Ron and Hermione. So what have you been doing if you're not allowed in meetings? He demanded. You said you've been busy. Oh, we have, said Hermione quickly. We've been decontaminating this house. It's been empty for ages and stuff's been breeding in here. We've managed to clean out the kitchen, most of the bedrooms, and I think we're doing the drawing room tomorrow. Ah!
With two loud cracks, Fred and George, Ron's elder twin brothers, had materialized out of thin air in the middle of the room. Pigwidgeon twittered more wildly than ever and zoomed off to join Hedwig on top of the wardrobe.
Stop doing that,
Hermione said weakly to the twins, who were as vividly red-haired as Ron, though stockier and slightly shorter.
Hello, Harry, said George, beaming at him. We thought we heard your dulcet tones. You don't want to bottle up your anger like that, Harry. Let it all out, said Fred, also beaming. There might be a couple of people 50 miles away who didn't hear you.
You two passed your apparition tests, then? Asked Harry grumpily.
With distinction,
said Fred, who was holding what looked like a piece of very long, flesh-colored string. It would have taken you about 30 seconds longer to walk down the stairs, said Ron.
Time is galleons, little brother, said Fred. Anyway, Harry, you're interfering with reception. Extendable ears, he added in response to Harry's raised eyebrows, holding up the string, which Harry now saw was trailing out onto the landing. We're trying to hear what's going on downstairs. You won't be careful, said Ron, staring at the air. If Mum sees one of them again? It's worth the risk. That's a major meeting they're having, said Fred. The door opened, and a long mane of red hair appeared. Oh, hello, Harry, said Ron's younger sister, Ginny, brightly. I thought I heard your voice. Turning to Fred and George, she said, It's no go with the extendable ears. She's gone and put an imperturbable charm on the kitchen door. How do you know? Said George, looking crestfallen. Tonks told me how to find out, said Ginny. You just chuck stuff at the door, and if it can't make contact, the door's been imperturbed. I've been flicking dumb bombs at it from the top of the stairs, and they just soar away from it, so there's no way the extendable ears will be able to get under the gap. Fred heaved a deep sigh. Shame. I really fancied finding out what old Snape's been up to. Snape, said Harry quickly. Is he here? Yeah, said George, carefully closing the door and sitting down on one of the beds. Fred and Ginny followed. Giving a report. Top secret. Get, said Fred idly. He's on our side now, said Hermione reprovingly. Ron snorted. Doesn't stop him being a get. The way he looks at us when he sees us. Bill doesn't like him either, said Ginny, as though that settled the matter. Harry was not sure his anger had abated yet, but his thirst for information was now overcoming his urge to keep shouting. He sank onto the bed opposite the others. Is Bill here? He asked. I thought he was working in Egypt.